Donald Trump addressing a fiery and loyal crowd in Texas tonight, but there are plenty in the GOP who aren't on board the Trump train. And I want to talk about that with Ken McKay. He's a political director of Rebuilding America, now a super PAC, a pro-Trump super PAC, by the way, and Bakari Sellers, former member of the South Carolina House of Representatives and a Hillary Clinton supporter, and conservative political analyst Amy Holmes in the house, in this corner, in the right corner of the screen. Okay, so Ken, I want to play this again. This is Donald Trump tonight. He spoke about the tragedy in Orlando, and he continues to say that if some of the people had guns there, there may have been a different conclusion. Look at this.
If we had people where the bullets were going in the opposite direction, right smack between the eyes of this maniac, if some of those wonderful people had guns strapped right here, right to their waist or right to their ankle, and this son of a bitch comes out and starts shooting, and one of the people in that room happened to have it and goes boom, boom. You know what? That would have been a beautiful, beautiful sight, folks. That would have been a beautiful, beautiful sight.
Listen, I know, Donald Trump is an animated man. He talks with his hands. But Ken, gesturing between the eyes like that, I mean, I just got back from Orlando, and the families there, the people are watching the news very closely. It's a very sensitive moment for the victims' families and for the people in Orlando especially. Do you think he's being insensitive in the wake of such a tragedy?
No. I think he's showing the frustration and the anger that most of us, or virtually all of us, feel. You know, this is another situation where, you know, the Democrats have run out. They made sure to blame this tragedy on gun owners of America quicker than they blamed the Benghazi attack on terrorists. That's how quickly and how disgustingly political the Democrats are on this stuff. Every time they come running out and they blame gun owners in America, and we're just, and so I think he's frustrated.
It's not just Democrats, and it's not
really. I think he's frustrated.
Okay, I understand that. But it's not just Democrats who are saying that there needs to be some sensible restrictions on what kinds of guns. It's also Republicans, it's also independents, it's reasonable people. And what the families say is that we're tired of the political talking points. Republican families, Democratic families, independent families, who are all of them, every family I spoke to said that they were pro-Second Amendment. They were tired of this whole gun thing being politicized. And quite frankly, they said that they thought that Donald Trump was politicizing it, most of them, even Republicans. So how do you respond to that? It's not just Democrats. By saying this is a Democratic talking point, you are politicizing it by doing that.
Well, how else am I supposed to respond? This is what they do.
You can respond by not having a partisan
tragedy like that.
You can respond by not having a partisan response and relying on partisan. Hang on, let me finish, Bakari. You can because listen. I know some people may get upset with me, but every time I go to one of these things and I sit with families who have lost loved ones and they stare me in the eyes and they're crying, and I see women, the women that I saw, the mothers who could not stop moving. They were so jittery, they hadn't slept, and they're telling me and that they cannot sleep at night. They cannot do anything. They're tired of turning on the television and hearing people bickering about left versus right when it comes to guns. They don't care if it was a terrorist act. They don't care if it was an act of hate. They don't care what it is. Their loved one is dead and they want something done about it. The one thing they say, the commonality in all of these mass shootings, is the type of weapon that is used. So by saying that this is a Democratic thing, you are politicizing it. That does not have to be your first response. Go ahead.
That's the question you asked me, whether I thought that Mr. Trump was politicizing it or being offensive, and I don't think he is. I think he's frustrated.
I didn't ask you if he was politicizing it. I asked you, that's not right. That's not what I asked you. The question is, I asked you if he was being insensitive at this point. I said nothing about politicizing it.
No, and I don't think he's being insensitive.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think he's being insensitive. I think he's expressing the same frustration that the rest of us feel. These are awful events.
Don.
There are people dead. There are families suffering. And the first thing that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama do is blame it on people who own guns in America, instead of focusing on the real issue, the rise of terrorism, the rise of ISIS in the Middle East. That happened under their administration. They have a mirror to look in here.
Go ahead.